Good afternoon. It is Monday, September the 4th, 2017. This is the Bitter Knitters Podcast TV Attack Edition.
Special Monday edition.
Monday edition, because some people have lives and make plans and can't be there for the show all the time. I'm Jacqueline. I'm joined with Justin.
Hello, how's it going?
Good. I've been on the air already once today. I'm kind of, I think I'm like Rush Limbaugh or something.
Yeah, or that InfoWars guy, Alex Jones.
Yes, Alex Jones.
Do you have a bone broth shake to sell us?
I do.
So the last 20 minutes will just be you advertising your bone broth shake.
Yeah, basically I'll just like buy a bone from the pet store and I'll just put it in some water and shake it, and that's your bone broth.
Oh,
$24.99 plus
that's
shipping and handling.
I think Alex Jones charges like $60 for that.
What?
So let's go ahead and talk about some news from the last several days. One thing that we've done, I don't know. He's got his followers. One news item that we've been covering quite a bit, even though I don't think either of us are going to watch the show the last several weeks, has been the whole American Idol situation, hiring the judges and the host and all this. And the funny thing is when they first announced the change over to ABC, I was under the impression they were going to be trying to do it kind of a little bit for the cheap, a little cheaper than Fox, because I guess with Fox it got a little more expensive, but it's not really going that way. So right now we have Ryan Seacrest as the host, and he's getting paid reportedly about $15 million. Katy Perry is the only judge that they've actually hired, and she's getting $25 million reportedly. That's $40 million right there. That seems like a lot
that
of money.
doesn't seem cheap, and that you're not even into production, crew. Seems like a lot of money.
Yeah. So now it's been reported that the Idol team has sent out an offer to one of the people we talked about a few weeks ago, Luke Bryan, to be the second judge so far. And so Luke Bryan's a country singer. He's actually a pretty big star, and I think he would be a pretty good get for them, especially because it's always good to have a country judge. But it seems like the hiccup might be, shocker, money, because they're paying Ryan $15, they're paying Katy $25. Apparently, the next judge, the most that they wanted to give them was $6 million. That's a huge drop off.
Well, and he's a current star. He's not like a has-been.
Yes, and I would say he's probably... Right now, he's probably a bigger star in the country world than Katy is in the pop world, because I don't think her new stuff is doing all that well.
Oh, well, I heard he's a nice guy and he's charismatic too.
Yes. Yeah, he seems quite... I remember I listened to him when his songs first came on. The first time I ever saw him on TV was there was an episode of Celebrity Apprentice, and they had to like dress up a up-and-coming country singer, and one team got him, and they did a bad job. They were trying to dress him up like something that he just wasn't. You could tell he was uncomfortable. I think who it was. I forgot who it was. Was it a Bret Michaels? Maybe it wasn't that. Maybe it was before that. But he seems like an interesting guy, and I think that I agree. He should hold out for more than $6 million. If Katy's getting 25, $6 million to me seems like a joke.
Well, I read that the Idol people are getting a little nervous because of Katy, because she did the VMAs and she was kind of a dud. She was boring and flat.
She was awful. There's a lot of blowback. And
I didn't watch it, but I heard that.
Yeah, I heard that too. She just did not come across very well. And they're paying her $25 million.
She better get interested fast.
And I just think if they're looking at $6 million and lower for the other judges, I think that's going to rule out Lionel Richie. I
probably have to go with Charlie Puth for sure, and maybe
Charlie Puth.
Adam Lambert.
Oh God, I hear George Huff is available. I'm sorry, it's a total.
If they want a country judge, why don't they get Bucky Covington?
Oh, he could probably do it. Josh Grayson. Apparently Keith Urban is also on the list of people.
Oh God, I thought they were going for something new. Why don't they just bring back all the same old fucking people?
But I think they threw that out the window when they brought back in Seacrest.
The only good thing about Keith Urban, I didn't watch the show by the time Keith Urban showed up, but I did watch the clip where Kelly Clarkson came back and sang the slow piece by piece.
Yeah.
And the best part was like the tears running down Keith Urban's face and the snot hanging down. He was so emotionally moved, and like J-Lo's just sitting beside him like, nothing.
Well, I don't think she's capable of crying. I think her tear ducts have probably been Probably closed up years ago. But I don't know. He was an okay. He seemed like a nice guy, but I want something new. I just think they made a mistake going for Katy Perry so quickly and so fast and for so expensive that I think
they should get Flava Flav.
That would be good. That would be good, even though I've seen.
I mean, you want somebody interesting and he's insane, or Coolio, one of those insane guys?
I saw way too much of Flavor Flav this week. There was a picture of him shirtless with Bill Nye, and I'm like, nope.
Whoa. Was Bill Nye shirtless as well?
Yes.
Whoa, what were they doing? Are they a couple?
I think they were like in Vegas.
Is that the new flavor of love?
there was someone else in the picture, but my eyes have been burned. Much like Jennifer Lopez.
You know what? The only thing I will say, at least they're not like shopping that horrible, what's her name? Ariana Grande?
Oh, jeez. Yeah. No,
she would be unbearable.
She'd be unbearable. Or Frankie. I mean, he would probably do it for $5. $5
oh my God. He'd probably pay money for them to get him on the show.
Oh God. So we'll see. We'll see if he, I haven't seen any updates, but we'll see if he accepts it. I do think money's an issue. It'd be interesting. I just don't know if I were him, if I would want to jump into this train. I don't think it's going to be a hit. I think it's going to be an embarrassment. I think they're bringing it back too soon, and they've already made some mistakes in bringing it back.
Well, I mean, if they're not even changing it, it's going to be the exact same show from what I can see.
Pretty much, yeah. And apparently the first judges rounds are just a few weeks from now. So they've got to get on this, and they got to figure it out. Or else we might get stuck with Frankie.
They might have to just like CGI in some judges once they get them. Great job.
Or just bring back Paula. I don't know what she's doing right now.
Yeah, she's not doing anything.
Do you know much about the Inhumans?
Just the commercials, and that it has My Delicious Simon in it.
Yeah, Simon. Yeah. So anyway, this whole thing's an interesting story, and I could probably talk an entire hour just for this. So the Inhumans, I will. Ha ha ha. So the Inhumans is a group of comic characters introduced back in the 60s in Fantastic Four comics that Marvel had been using. And they announced several years ago they're going to make an Inhumans movie coming out like 2019, 2020. And at the same time, Marvel was all butthurt that Fox has the rights to the X-Men. So they started publishing a lot less X-Men comics and started trying to push the Inhumans as the new X-Men. It failed miserably. Nobody wanted Inhumans comics. So they've kind of have started to dial that back. Then at the same time, there was a lot of drama with Marvel Studios and with the heads of Marvel Comics, and they kind of split up in a way. And then a few weeks later, Inhumans mysteriously disappeared off of the movie theater, of the movie lineup. Listing, yeah.
Yeah.
So then the Marvel Comics with ABC Studios decided to then turn it into a TV series, which is premiering at the end of the month, 8 episodes on ABC. But they wanted to try something a little different. So they announced that they were going to take the first 2 episodes, they're going to re-edit the first 2 episodes and release them into IMAX theaters this week.
Yeah, I saw that commercial.
Yeah, and the funny thing is they're trying to push this. They're trying to make a huge push for it. Marvel TV stuff does okay, but when they released the first trailer, people laughed at how bad it was. I didn't think it looked horrible, but it looked cheap. Some of the effects did not look great.
It kind of looked like it was Canadian made. Sorry, Canada. I love you, but our TV shows don't look the greatest all the time.
I feel like they've gotten better, but yes, this looked like maybe mid-90s Canadian.
Yeah.
And so they released it in IMAX theaters this weekend, and it's projected, or I think they're going to say it grossed about 1.5 million, which is abysmal.
Bad.
Which is bad.
Yeah.
And I mean, I kind of applaud them for trying something different, for doing it this way, but it doesn't seem like it's going to work out. And I think when the Inhumans starts at the end of this month on ABC, I don't think people are going to watch it. And I think, again, Marvel was trying to make this thing happen, and people didn't want the Inhumans to happen.
Well, I think that's part of it. People don't know who the Inhumans are. And other than Simon, or the guy who played Ramsay Bolton, I can't say his name, Reese Ifen or Ufin, or I'm fucking his name is.
Yuan Ruin.
Yeah, that's his name. That's his name. Simon from Misfits. he's the only person I think I know in the commercials that I've seen. So
yeah, there's one guy from Lost in it, I believe.
Okay.
I forget his character's Miles.
Oh, okay, yes. The psychic guy or whatever.
Yes. I think he's in it. And I think I'm supposed to know who the main guy is, Anson Mount. I've seen the name. I don't know who he is.
That name sounds super familiar.
Yeah, exactly. Every time I see that guy's name, I'm like, oh, yeah, I don't know who you are. And they've got a giant CG teleporting dog.
Yeah, that's kind of the whole thing. Like, you see them, we must go to Earth. And they're like, whoop, I'm in Earth. Like,
thanks,
weird
dog.
teleportation thing. I'll watch it just because Simon's in it and he's playing a bad guy again, but
he looks like, good. Based on the trailers, besides the teleporting dog, Simon looks like the best part about it.
And I don't like superhero movies or shows all that much either. So
yeah, well, I don't think this one will be very super, so you should be good.
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, I'm glad they tried something. I just don't. We'll see how it turns out. But there is one show that I have been watching for 17 years now. And when did you start watching Survivor?
Immediately. I've watched every season except for China. I didn't care for the people in China, and so I stopped watching. And this season when the All-Stars came back and they got rid of like Boston Rob in the first 3 episodes or whatever, I was like, fuck this show.
But you started watching it with season 1 also.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so 17 years ago, because that premiered in 2000. Well, they have announced the cast this week for season 35. I have watched 35 of these. Which is
same. Well,
close enough. I mean, you at least started.
Close enough.
So it's going to be all original cast members and castaways this year.
Which is good.
I think it's more interesting that way. And the theme is heroes, healers, and hustlers. Which
I don't really kind of get. The theme is weird.
No, because you look at the heroes tribe.
Because they have like somebody who's a heroes, and I can't remember. One guy was like a bartender or something. I'm like, what?
Well, the heroes listed, at least on what I'm looking at right now, you got a football player, a marine, a firefighter, financial analyst.
Well, maybe that's who I was thinking of, the bartender. There's like a weird person.
She might also be the mom. There's one that they're calling a super mom, a lifeguard, and an Olympian.
Okay, whatever.
And then you have
I just like that they don't all look like model actresses. They look like normal people for the most part.
I mean, some of them do, especially I think some of the guys. But you're right. There is a big group of these castaways that, for once again, look like normal people.
Yeah.
You have Ryan the bellhop, who's a hustler, who is just this normal, skinny-looking, nerdy white guy, and he looks hilarious. They were asked in their bios on CBS.com what are 3 things you would take to the island with you, and he would take a Shamrock Shake because they are limited. You cannot have them year-round. And
I'm like, can you fault him with this logic? He's the turtleneck enthusiast.
He also is the turtleneck enthusiast, which
I love this guy.
That's amazing.
I like the quirky oddballs. I love them. Cochran,
Yes, they're always fun to watch.
Yeah, the quirky people I tend to like.
Yeah, and you have I think his name's Michael. He's a urologist. He's not really in good shape, which is awesome.
Yeah.
You have this fisherman lady who is not in great shape. So that's what I like to see. I like to see, especially remember looking back at season 1, you had Sonia, BB, and Rudy, who were all AARP members. They're all
on the verge of death then,
And I believe he's still alive.
Yeah.
Because I think BB passed away several years ago.
Yeah.
But I believe the others are.
The winner, Richard, he wasn't in the greatest shape. He was a chubby guy. He was middle-aged, but he did really well. I mean, you had to play the game
looking at that group, most of them really weren't that attractive, which is fine.
No, they weren't like the super hot, like, we get, you get the really hot people and now, but yeah, there was a lot of young people, but there was a lot of normal people. That's what I like.
Yeah, which I like nice. And then I feel like somewhere along the line, they're like, everybody wants models. And like, no, we don't want to see. And I feel like Big Brother has always been stuck in that too. We don't want to see these. We
want to see some eye candy, but we don't want 12 out of 16 to be eye candy.
No. And I feel like most of the time, they're not the most interesting personalities either.
And I get annoyed because these people are the ones that have been recruited. So they don't even watch the show. They don't understand the show. They're like, what's an immunity idol? And I don't understand how to, strategically think, and I'm playing with my heart and not my head. And it's just like, that's why I like when super fans come on, because they understand the game.
Yeah, fans versus favorites are always interesting seasons because you always get that tribe of people who know the game and know it inside and out. And then I feel like Jeff Probst and the other producers always try to mess with them by bringing interesting twists.
Yeah, stuff they're not expecting.
So yeah, you have the healers tribe. They're like nurses, social workers, doctors, probation officer. Okay. Okay. And the hustler is a small business owner, celebrity assistant,
I was like
surfer,
con man.
Yeah, poker player.
That's a hustler to me. Yeah.
I was thinking a poker player.
I don't think anything can ever top last season's tribal councils, though. Like, I hope we get some drama at tribal councils like last season.
They were good. So we're looking at this one. I mean, I guess they could bring the drama, but it'll be interesting. And they're back in Fiji where they've been the last 2 seasons.
Yeah. Don't disappoint me, Ryan. Don't be an asshole. I don't want to have to turn
or don't be the first one out.
Well,
I'm looking at that hustler tribe, and I don't know. I don't know if they're quite physically up with the others, but you do have that giant like buff ginger guy, so we'll see how they do. Okay.
See, Arthur from the show, the other podcast, he's saying no drug dealers. Exactly. When I say hustlers, I'm thinking of people like that. So
100%, yeah, and not like, oh, you're a bellhop. Okay, well, he's just a guy.
You mean you hustle in life to like get to your job?
That's pretty much what Jeff Probst was saying. Oh yeah, these are people that work hard. They hustle at their job. Dude, do you know what? Oh my gosh,
they're just hardworking people.
I would have been okay if one contestant was just like a copy of like Hustler magazine. It's like we wrote out the Hustler magazine.
There's Justin's luxury item.
But I mean, you're a hustler. You're
yeah.
We'll see. That premieres in a few weeks, and I'm not too excited, but I'm definitely rooting for Ryan. So that's awesome. A couple quick things just to go over quickly. Goldberg, which is coming back in a few weeks for season 5. The Michalka sister, AJ Michalka, is not coming back as a series regular, which I think we kind of saw that coming.
She wasn't, because she went off to college.
Exactly, and I'm like
some faraway state.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they kept playing with her and Barry and bringing it together and going back, and then she did go off to college. And I'm like, that would be kind of, I think, phony if she were to be back full time. But
well, you know who his new love interest is going to be? Did you hear?
No.
The kayak. You're talking about him doing the bad kayak? Battle of the Network Stars?
That would be amazing. New love interest, the kayak. These can go around in circles. The storyline will never go anywhere. And then the guy that plays Jeff Schwartz has been upgraded to a series regular.
Yay, I love Jeff Schwartz and the sister, Erica.
I do too. I think that
Jeff Schwartz would have been the guy I was in love with in high school. I love that nerdy, kind of weird, just a little bit cute kind of guy. I loved that. And Jewish. I love Jewish.
That actor does a good job with that, and I like that character. So you know what? I'll take Jeff Schwartz over the Michalka sister.
Poor Michalka sister. Maybe she'll join
the Michalkas. Oh, one could be a zombie, one could not be a zombie. But they are recording music. Yeah. Oh, did they?
Did you see their Playboy? I don't know if they were fully nude, but they were like sexy in Playboy.
Oh, I don't know. I try not to think of them as very sexy.
Sisters or brothers pose naked, or moms and daughters pose naked with each other. It's very
Especially
weird
when you've seen them since they were like kids on TV. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird. True Detective was a show that on HBO that was huge in season 1. Everybody loved it. Season 2, it came back. Everybody hated it. Sorry, Taylor Kitsch. And so it was like on hiatus for the longest time. People were wondering, is it going to come back? Is it not? Well, apparently it has been renewed. And I can never say this guy's name.
Mahershala Ali.
Mahershala Ali is going to be the main cast member, even though it sounds like this will be in 3 different time zones. And it's going to be taking part in the Ozarks. The Ozarks have quite a moment going on right now.
That's a new cool place to be. You don't need to be in New York or Hollywood now. You need to be in the Ozarks to be in the show.
I wonder if like Jason Bateman will do a cameo. But it's just, I don't understand what's so like magical about the Ozarks that everything needs to be set in the Ozarks now.
Yeah, I don't know. I tried to watch season 1 and I found it really boring and stopped watching. And I didn't watch season 2. Arthur says he likes season 2. It's film noir.
I heard there is kind of a little bit of fan base out there for it, but I know for the most part, especially critics, just like tore it apart. Yeah. I never did try watching it because I knew just based on the clips I saw, it would be too boring for me.
Yeah.
Is there any show
I watch boring shows, but
my fan can only handle so much. Is there any show that you think would be improved by being set in the Ozarks? Since that seems to be
Survivor.
I was gonna say Big Brother Ozarks.
Big Brother Ozarks, Nashville Ozarks.
Ooh.
Lots of shows. Lots of shows.
That would be Game of Thrones Ozarks.
Last Night Ozarks. I don't know anything.
Everything. American Horror Story.
You know what would actually been good? Remember that show, Take the Money and Run? Where they had to hide the briefcase of money? That would have been good in the Ozarks.
In the Ozarks. Yeah, every year or every couple years, another channel tries to take a similar idea. Because last year, CBS had that Manhunt show, which I
liked that show.
And yeah, that could have been put in any of those types of shows. I think the Ozarks would be awesome.
Arthur says the Kardashians in the Ozarks.
You know what?
And then they get lost.
From everybody else. I'm good with that. That's a good idea.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I can proudly say I've never watched a minute of the Kardashians.
Me
and
either.
any other spin-off shows.
No, I just have never had any desire. But you know what? Might as well go to. Maybe they may have been to the Ozarks. We would never know.
True.
There's a new Hulu show coming soon called Castle Rock, which is kind of based on like Stephen King's little universe, which I think sounds kind of cool. And
I'm excited for this. Yeah,
they've got a pretty good cast so far. They got Sissy Spacek, Scott Glenn.
Is she playing Carrie or somebody else?
I don't know. I hope it's Carrie. That'd be amazing. Scott Glenn.
Carrie was dead at the end of the movie.
Who I believe is from Walking Dead. Melanie Linsky, Jane Levy from Suburgatory, Bill Skarsgård. You always got to have a Skarsgård. And this.
Oh, is he gonna play Pennywise?
That's true. See, I don't know if they're going to use all their movie characters or what they're going to do, but that could be a possibility.
That's good.
And then this week they announced that Terry O'Quinn, most well known as playing Locke from Lost, is joining the cast. That's a really interesting cast.
He could play. That is a good cast. Bill Skarsgård could be playing like how Pennywise came to be.
Ooh, that should be interesting because he's got It coming next weekend, which looks like it will gross more than the Inhumans. But I don't see any information for when the show is supposed to premiere, but I would assume sometime in 2018, and that'll be on Hulu. And I think that looks like it's going to be a good show.
I'm excited for that. That looks good.
And then there's a Netflix show that was ordered, which I'm looking forward to, I think. It's called The Eddie, and it's a musical drama that is set in modern-day Paris revolving around a club. And the only reason why I'm reporting on this one is because it is going to be co-directed and produced by Damien Chazelle, who was the director of La La Land last year, and I unabashedly love that. I know there are people that do not like it, but I am a huge fan of
that show. Sounds horrible, Slack.
That sounds amazing.
That sounds horrible.
Well, you know what sounds horrible? Remember last week when we talked about that Orlando Bloom fantasy Amazon show?
Oh, that was awful.
No, it gets worse. They cast another person, Cara Delevingne.
Oh, yuck.
Yes.
I hate her.
She is awful. Like, Suicide Squad was a horrible movie, but when you are the worst part of a horrible movie, that's bad. And she was complete garbage in that movie.
Oh, no. Yeah, she was awful in the, what the hell was that one called?
Paper Towns?
Searching for Alaska? Paper Towns, that's it.
Oh, my gosh. I was like, if I was a kid, I'd be like, okay, I'm not looking for you. You can stay lost in that movie. It's like,
I just
has no personality, and she was in that Valerian movie with Dane DeHaan this year, and it just looked bad.
Yeah, it looks bad.
Sure thing. I'll look this up for you.
Thanks,
Cortana is searching for you. I told you Siri is better than Cortana.
I know. I hate Cortana. She just randomly starts talking to me.
Don't say her name. She's going to start talking again.
She's like my own her.
You know what you should do though? Next time we're going to talk about, you should have her ready to go. So when we want to talk about Game of Thrones, you should have her play the Game of Thrones music.
Oh, Cortana. No. Speaking of Game of Thrones, it is over. The season finale was last week.
I know. I'm so happy that it was like such a good episode, but I'm so sad it's done.
Yeah, and we may not, the rumors are now that we may not even get a new episode until 2019.
That makes me super angry.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of hope that they could work it out for the end of 2018. But yeah, if we don't see it till 2019, that
doesn't make any sense. Because if they start filming in November in the winter, like they did last year, why can't they get it out at the same time?
Yeah,
episodes.
I think a couple things is I think they actually started filming more towards the end of September last time. So it was a few weeks. Still, a couple weeks should not make much of a difference. And I also think that these episodes, I think, are, even though there's only 6 of them, I think they are going to be longer from what I've heard. And
probably
I believe there's going to be a lot of CGI, a lot of fight scenes, a lot of battle. So I think that's going to take longer too. But that's frustrating. And
why don't they make the snow? Just make it CGI in the snow too, fuckers. Come on, I want my show.
Everything else is CGI'd.
Well, with all this global warming, when they do the spin-offs, it'll have to take place in like Sothos or Southos, whatever the hell they call that place. And
where's the place for the Dorne? It could be Dorne, right?
Yeah, Dorne.
Because that's kind of a summery place. So anyway,
that's where I'm least interested in too. Yeah, go on. Describe the show.
Yeah, Dorne is kind of the worst. You kind of had, I feel like, two big plots going on. You had the stuff that was going on in Winterfell, and then you had everybody coming together to the Dragon Pit in King's Landing to convince that we need to team up because the undead are coming and they're going to kill us all.
Like a ceasefire and a peace treaty, yeah.
Yeah, and so you got everyone in. You've got Cersei. You've got what's that guy? Khadgar. I never know that guy's name. And you got Jaime. And for King's Landing,
Qyburn or whatever.
Qyburn. Yeah. And then from Winterfell, you've got Brienne and Podrick. And from Dragonstone, you've got Jon Snow from Winterfell too. You got Jon Snow and Dany and Davos, all those fun people, and they come together. And I thought that was a pretty cool scene. And what I liked is I like seeing everybody together. You don't see that. You don't see that many cast members.
We've never seen Dany with most of these people.
Correct.
Right, and then to see, I mean, we haven't seen the Lannisters with Jon Snow since the first episode. We haven't seen the Hound with half these people for seasons. Yeah, it's good.
And not only are people meeting for the first time, you get reunions. You get Jaime and Brienne. You get Pod and Bronn and Pod and Tyrion, and it's kind of nice them giving all these in. Brienne and the Hound, kind of giving everybody their own little moment for us to be like, yay.
Yeah, it was good. I really liked the interaction with the Hound and Brienne, and they were talking about they were both trying to do the best thing for Arya that they could, and and they're like, well, is she safe now? And Brienne's basically like, I can't even keep her safe. She keeps herself safe.
That was a cool line. I liked that moment a lot. There was one thing in that scene that kind of threw me off a little bit, which I thought was kind of weird, and I didn't think like it really belonged. That was when like Bronn came. He's like, "Oh, by the way, I gotta go. Bye, everybody. See ya. Pod, let's go get a drink. See ya." Like
he did not want anything to do with that shit. But I guess.
Go ahead.
Go on.
Do you know?
I was just gonna say like he didn't even get to see the white, right?
No, but do you know the possible story, the real life story behind why they took him out of the scene so quickly?
No.
Apparently, I don't know how true this is, so a lot of this might be rumor scuttlebutt, but I love rumor scuttlebutt. He and Lena Headey, whatever, who plays Cersei, they used to date at some point. And now they're broken up, and now apparently they do not like to be in the same room with each other.
I didn't know that. Ooh, that's some juicy tea.
Yeah, that they will not be in the same room. So that was their way of getting Bronn to get everybody together and be like, see everybody. Because if you notice, they don't have scenes with each other. Like they'll mention each other's names, but you never see them together. And so they brought out the White Walker, and it was within inches of Cersei's face.
Oh, that was such a good scene.
And Cersei still was like, okay, I'm with you guys. What did she ask for Jon Snow to bow down?
She wanted him to, well, no, she didn't want him to choose sides. So not to choose Dany, to choose her, but to stay neutral.
To stay neutral.
And he said, I already bent the knee to my lady queen.
That's what it was. And then she's like, okay, bye guys, see ya. Don't want anything
I know.
to do with this.
I was like so stressed at that scene. But did you notice how like that evil scientist Qyburn was like looking at that zombie hand like, I could do so much with this?
Oh, I didn't notice that. Well, he's the guy behind what he did to the mountain, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, that's interesting. I didn't even catch that. But then you had scenes with Cersei, Tyrion talked to her, and Jaime, and everyone's talking to her. And then she comes back out to the dragon pit. She's like, okay, you guys got a deal. Ceasefire, and we're good.
We'll send our men to the north to help. Yeah.
And then later we find out.
And I was like, I wrote in my notes, I'm like, yes, Cersei. I was so happy and relieved. And then, of course, later I put in giant capitals, you bitch.
You bitch. Because we find out that she's just playing them. That the thing is, if they all go and they get decimated, both Jon Snow's people and Dany's people, that leaves her able to rule. But she's realized... I don't think she's taken the White Walkers seriously because, great, you're going to be the last person left, last human that can go on the throne, but you still have to deal with these White Walkers that are going to murder you.
Yeah, and I guess it seemed like one was easy to kill. She hasn't seen 100,000 of them, 1 million of them. They look like more than 100,000 at the end to me. I don't know.
There's a lot. So it'll be interesting to see how they defeat them next year. But my favorite scene of the entire show was when Jaime realizes that her ruse and that she lied to everybody, and he wasn't having any of that. He was all about the honor and this is the right thing to do. And so we've seen them as a couple pretty much the entire series, and he
always stood by her.
But
I think he realized this is more than just the Lannisters. This is the human race, all of the Westeros.
So he goes riding off on horseback to presumably join everybody else. We don't know for sure, but kind of leaving her alone. And I thought that was really awesome of Jaime. And I feel like Jaime's got one of the most interesting stories from beginning to end.
He's gonna die a noble death.
He's gonna totally die a noble death. He's gonna sacrifice. He's gonna die, but he's gonna die a hero. And I think that's awesome. He's the guy that in episode 1 pushed Bran off the window. He was kind of a awful guy. And I always like a good redemption story. So watching Jaime go from season 1 to season 7, like I feel like he's gonna earn a noble death, and I think I can't wait to see that.
I hope Brienne gets to bone him before he has his noble death.
I do too. Again, I feel that's who I would put Brienne with, or all of them. We talked about this last week too. All of them.
I know they could be in a quadruple instead of a thruple, a quadruple. You throw the Hound in there.
Podrick just sits. Yeah, I would put the Hound in there definitely. Podrick just sits and watches. Poor Podrick. So then at Winterfell, we have what was my other favorite scene of the episode, is when again Littlefinger kept trying to pit Sansa and Arya against each other and trying to kind of cause a rift between the sisters to kind of better his position. And it really looked like Sansa was siding with Littlefinger against Arya. So we got a scene where it looks like Arya is being held for trial and for judgment, and she's Sansa's sitting at the head, and she's like, "How do you answer for your crimes?" And then she looks over, and she's like, "Peter Baelish."
Yeah.
Peter Baelish like, "What, man? Oh."
Yeah, he shit himself.
Which I love the part when he's like, I forgot the exact wording because it's been a week since I watched it. When he's like, "Well, let me just plead my case," and he turns around and he's like, "Getting ready for the errand. Let me go back." Like about to like run away.
I also liked where he's like, "If I could just talk to her for a moment alone," like without her family there, he could manipulate Sansa. He said.
Yeah. Well, and he got sentenced to death. Arya killed him right then and there.
Yeah. I also liked how the three-eyed Bran was like, "You held a knife to our father's neck. You told him," I don't know, he told the whole story, but it was like so good. It was like, yes, Bran. Or Bran.
Three-eyed Bran. Too many, yeah. And then there's Bran the Builder.
Three-eyed Bran.
Three-eyed Bran works. Can he fix it? So apparently there was a scene that they deleted that I've been reading about where I think it shed a little bit more light to it. The events leading up to that scene where I guess Sansa goes to Bran, meets with Three-eyed Bran, and I guess she learns a little bit more through
she finally asks kind of him to look and see what he could see, and he tells her the truth, and she realizes that Arya's not out to take over.
Exactly, and I feel like that would have taken away some of the surprise of that scene, though, when she turned her head.
Yeah, that's what I think. That was like the good part, because you're like, she's not going to do this to Arya. That's her sister. What is she going to do? What's Bran going to say? He's just going to let Arya get,
Yeah, because as a viewer, without that deleted scene, you're not quite sure what's going on. You think that she has turned against Arya and that she's going to sentence Arya to something, and that ends up being for Peter Baelish. But if we actually had that scene with her and Bran, none of that would have been a surprise. So I kind of like that we were left in the dark with that.
Yeah.
And then Sam came back, Sam and Gilly.
Aw, I love Sam. I love Gilly too. I love Sam. He's just like the most earnest guy, and he's a good guy.
But he's kind of a jerk because he took credit for Gilly's discovery.
But he didn't, because remember, she was reading the book he already had translated. She can't read the old tongue.
But he didn't catch it. She was the one who
was like busy. He translated. He already read that. Nah. Yeah. But you know what I thought was funny? Why did Three-eyed Bran be like, what are you doing here, Sam? Shouldn't he already know why Sam is there? He sees everything.
He does see everything. Even when it came time to like, oh, how do you know this is happening? He like holds up the scroll that a raven sent. It was like, shouldn't he know it at being the Three-eyed Bran anyway about that? I mean, it was a funny moment, but I just feel like Bran is one of those characters, one of those like all-seeing everything characters that is so hard to write for. Because there's so many inconsistencies and so many plot holes that you could do.
It'd be hard to keep that character straight. Yeah. I did like how we got to see finally Rhaegar and Lyanna's wedding scene and kind of a little glimpse of their love affair.
That was interesting. And that actor they got looked so much like Viserys.
Well, I'm sure they used Viserys' wig.
I'm sure it had to have been the same gross disgusting. And that, you know what? That wig always bugged me. I always thought that was the ugliest wig that he wore in season 1.
It's so bad. Well, Dany's wig is not good either. Let's face it. They have bad wigs on those Targaryens.
But I feel like it's gotten better. It's such an unnatural hair color for most people that it'd be kind of hard to. But it never worked on. It never worked on him. But yeah, we do find out the true parentage of Jon Snow. We get a little scene with their marriage, so it's kind of formalized. So we know for sure that he is a Targaryen, and he's actually first in line to the throne. So I got a question.
And as soon as he says his name is Aegon Targaryen, he's the true.
So what's he doing with Dany at this moment?
Boning the shit out of her.
We got some.
That's not unusual.
Nephew action.
Look, we've had lots of incest. We had Jaime and Cersei. We had the Croft, whatever his name was, that Gilly's husband that boned all his daughters and left his sons to become the White Walkers. And we've had the history of the Targaryens. This is not unusual. Yeah. I'm not saying you should do it in real life. It's sick people. But in fiction, when you're as beautiful as Jon and Dany, I have no problems with it.
And I will say aunt and nephew is slightly less disgusting than brother and sister. So I will give them that. Slightly. Brother and sister are just disgusting. Aunt and nephew are like, okay. Maybe.
I hope you don't have a hot aunt.
No, I do not. Not when that looks like Dany.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got a nice scene, and they're on the boat. They're getting ready to go to a port.
Go back to Winterfell.
Travel over to Winterfell. Yeah.
I will say this is the funniest BuzzFeed, of course. It's all I read all week was Taylor Swift and Game of Thrones stuff. And one of the funniest things I read was they had a picture of Jon's butt in that scene. And they're saying how his butt is fits the Fibonacci thing perfectly.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Perfect round and the number. So I was like, oh my gosh, BuzzFeed, please.
That's very funny.
But what about Tyrion creeping in the hallway?
Oh yeah, that was interesting. Because I've read a few theories about that.
I first thought maybe he was in love with her. But then I just saw something Arthur was saying that he thinks that maybe Tyrion is lying to Jon and Dany. He's going to betray them because he's going to side with Cersei because she has the baby now. And he feels guilty probably over the deaths of Myrcella and Tom.
I didn't think about that either. That's interesting because you have the theory that he's in love with her. And then I also read some people thinking like he's concerned that she's not making the right choices and that she's letting her heart be distracted instead of being focused on trying to become ruler. And so I can kind of see all three of those kind of make somewhat of sense. But I do feel like if it's the love thing, it kind of out of left field. But at the same time,
because I've never noticed it. The only kind of thing we got was when Cersei was saying she's just the type of woman you always fall for.
Yeah, but at the same time, if we look at Tyrion back in season 1, he had his whores. He was always in the whorehouses, always in the brothels, doing this and that. And that's not the Tyrion we get now. So maybe, and I feel like all that changed pretty much once he met Dany.
I hope he doesn't betray them because I like Tyrion and I don't want to have to root against him.
I don't know.
Tyrion, although if he betrays them and then he goes to Cersei and she does something, maybe that's when he turns around and kills her because remember her death is supposed to be from the Valancourt, which is translates to like little brother.
Yeah, that's true. People were also speculating that she could give death during childbirth, and that would also.
I mean, that's a horrible death, but I really wanted to have like a really like either Jaime kills her or like a White Walker eats her face off.
Yeah. Well, I think Jaime would be good. That won't happen. Tyrion would be good. Arya would be good. Or a White Walker. Polar bear could eat her face off. Speaking of the White Walkers, then we have the final scene of season 7, which is supposed to get us excited for season 8 coming in like 20 years. And of course, it takes place at the Wall. So what happens? Eastwatch, the Wall, same thing to me. I don't know how any of this goes. So what do we see?
You have Tormund and Beric on top of the Wall. My beloved Tormund. They're up on the wall and they're like, hey, what's that noise? And then they look down and they see one lone White Walker come out and then all the fucking zombie guys come out. And you're like, I still hear that noise. And then finally Tormund's like, run! And everybody starts running in this freaking reincarnated Viserion. What's that dragon's name? Viserion?
Yeah, Viserion.
He comes and he's blowing. That's not even ice. What's he blowing? Like electricity? I didn't know what was happening.
Ice flame, fire, ice fire, ice fire.
But he blew that wall down like nothing.
Yeah, and now leaving an opening for the White Walkers to then come through on the other side of the wall, which is crazy.
Thousands and thousands, if not millions, of White Walkers.
Yes. Oh, there are tons of them. And they've got dragons, giants, so many, like, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. And I think Tormund, he survived that.
I think so, too. I think he was on the side of the wall that did not crumble.
Yeah, they showed an angle of him from watching. He saw it down, so he was fine. And I think he's going to be the one that's going to, I don't know if he's going to send ravens or send help or the first scene of season 8 will be him trying to go up against them. But he's faced them, so he would know better than that.
He knows he can't face that many. Like, if it was 1 or 2, sure.
He's got to survive so he can join Brienne's harem.
But you think about, there's a ton of little villages all the way along. And then you've got, say like the Bolton's areas and that kind of general easternly direction to that side. And even the port that Dany and Jon are going to go to is on the eastern side of Westeros in the north. So they need to move their butts and get to Winterfell quickly.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. We got 6 episodes left. It'll be interesting to see how much they focus on the battle with the White Walkers, how much they focus on the human drama. You now have we now know stuff about Jon Snow that Jon Snow doesn't know about himself yet, and it'll be interesting once they all find out. I'm looking forward to seeing how that's going to change the dynamic between himself and Dany, because I think
since he's the real heir.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's gonna. I don't know how she's gonna feel about that.
And she's gonna get pregnant from that for sure. Like totally. They made such a big point. I can't have children. I can't have children. I can't have children.
Maybe the witch was wrong. I can't have children.
Oh, okay. Arthur is telling me that White Harbor is south of Winterfell. Okay, thanks, Arthur. I didn't know that. I knew it was east, but I wasn't sure.
Oh my god, the map of West.
And he says it's blue flame that comes out of the dragon's.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was saying, right? Frozen flame.
Yeah.
Yeah. It still doesn't really make
crazy.
Sense.
I know. I don't know what's going on. I'm so excited. Do we know when the spinoffs are starting? Like that better come fast too.
No, because they've announced that the first spinoff will be on the air at least 1 year after the finale.
I can't wait for this shit. What the hell are they doing to me?
Because the reasoning that I heard was that they didn't want it kind of taking away from the last series and all that, and they wanted to kind of breathe on its own. So it will be at least a year after the finale, the first spinoff. And we don't even know.
Screw these bitches. I'm so mad at them.
Yeah.
I'm so mad at them.
So it'll be.
Can I say I made a note of this because this was really important to me. Theon Greyjoy, Alfie Allen, he had some great acting in that. We haven't seen a ton of him this season, little bits here and there. But the scenes he was in the last episode, the range of emotion he had, I thought he was fantastic.
I feel like he's improved as an actor as the series has gone on.
Yeah, he was really good. Like, I mean, the fear, he shows fear really good. And, just kind of like that shame he had on his face while he's talking to Jon. And I thought he was fantastic.
Yeah, so now he's on a journey to get his sister, right? Who he believes should still be alive.
Well, as far as we know, she is, unless they've killed her off camera.
But I also didn't know that getting your junk cut off meant you now had like a steel crotch.
Well, I mean, did he lose his junk and his balls, or just his junk? Because, I mean, still hurts if you get kicked in the balls.
I would think that even if you're missing everything, it would still hurt. It's still a part of your body, unless he was wearing some like super. He was wearing like a steel cup or something. I just feel like
I don't have a pecker, but trust me, somebody kicked me in my vagina, it would hurt.
It would still hurt. I mean, it's still part of your body, even if you don't have junk. I just feel like it would still hurt. So I feel like that scene where the guy was kicking him and he's like, ha 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 ha, you can't.
Well, it just doesn't hurt as much. It's like if he got kicked in the shin or something, maybe.
Oh, he seemed like he was.
He's a warrior. He does know how to fight. He's taking punches. He's been probably punching the ribs.
Yeah, and he also jumped off the boat instead of rescuing his sister.
Well, he was still scared then. It's come back. He's coming back.
So it'll be interesting to see what they do with Theon. And then I feel like there's a few characters that we haven't seen much of recently that I would assume are going to play into season 8 at some point. You have Melisandre, who went off to some other land. She's got to factor back in the story again, right?
She's got to get her comeuppance.
Yeah, and I think
Arya's going to kill her.
Yes, there was a scene back in season 3 where that had Melisandre and Arya together, and Melisandre was like, "This won't be the first time we meet," type of thing. So that needs to tie back in. We also
she's on Arya's kill list, so
yes, and we haven't seen Daario in a couple seasons, so I'm wondering
we don't get to see him. Maybe he's one of the mercenaries that what's his name goes to hire. Euron's gone over to.
That's a theory I've read.
That
he would be part of like the Golden Army, or
that
maybe
just dawned on me.
He might even be leading the Golden Army when Euron comes over there. So I have read that theory, which I think would be.
You can't do that, Liam from Nashville. You need to write a love song for Dany.
Well, no, she'll just get black roses. So then, wow, that was a joke only us will get. And I think that would be a good way to tie him back in. I think that would be kind of the most logical way. It'd be kind of hard unless we just ignore him. But I feel like he was kind of important in Dany's life for a couple seasons to just kind of throw him off and never bring him back.
So he's going to be like angry and heartbroken and want his revenge and help take her out. He knows what he's going to be hired for, I'm assuming, before he gets there.
Yeah, or he agrees and then he turns against them. I don't know. I can't see him going against Dany.
Maybe when Euron gets her, he's like, oh, yeah, she's with Jon Snow now. And he's get, like, jealous.
Ooh, that would be good. Now, I've got a question. So many seasons ago, and I don't even remember anything that happens, Abraham from Zoo, his character died, right? On Game of Thrones?
I don't remember. We should ask Arthur. He's like our expert. Arthur, do you remember?
He knows more than we do.
Do you remember when she was in Bravos? Was he the one who tried to steal dragons?
Maybe. He had to have died, right?
Probably in the burning of that temple she was in where she found her dragons. Maybe.
Awesome.
I don't remember.
I just Google search Abraham Kenyatta. What am I doing with my life?
Arthur says Dario fights for beauty, so maybe he'll think Cersei is hot.
You know what though? I don't know if it's between Dany and Cersei, I would go with Dany, even with her bad way.
Dany is pretty, yeah, with her bad way. Oh, Zaros died. That's his name. See, I knew Arthur would know. Thank you, Arthur.
Thank you, Arthur. They could have brought him back because I don't think Zoo's got much of a future. But
he was left in the vault. Oh, in that temple? Okay. Yeah, I guess in the temple. So he burnt to death or smoke inhalation.
So it'll be interesting. I'm looking forward to Jon Snow running in with Sam and Arya again. And
I'm most excited, besides seeing how it actually ends, is to see his reaction when he finds out not only is he a Targaryen, he's not a Stark bastard, he's a Targaryen. Like, that will be...
And he's technically not a bastard, thinking that he's been a bastard.
He's the heir of Westeros. Like, that will be mind-blowing to me. I can't wait to see his reaction.
Yeah, that should be awesome. Since we only have a few minutes left, not enough time to talk about Zoo. I'm sorry. I want to name a few characters from Game of Thrones, and I want you to tell me whether you think they're going to be alive or dead at the end of the series.
You know, why I believe in happy endings, even though I know it's not going to be happy endings, and I think everybody's going to die and be happy. But okay, go on.
Yeah, I'm a little darker than you, so I'll answer mine too. Okay. So let's start with Tyrion Lannister. That's a tough one.
If he betrays Dany and Jon, he'll die. If he doesn't, maybe live.
I think he's gonna live. I think he's gonna live.
I think he might end up married to Sansa.
Oh,
again?
No. I've always thought that was weird. We talked about this earlier, so this will be quick. But Jaime Lannister.
Yeah, noble death.
Noble death, definitely noble death. Cersei.
Dead, 100% dead.
She has to die. She has to die. Brienne of Tarth.
Alive. I refuse to say dead. Alive.
Yeah, I'm gonna say alive. I kind of want to say dead. I think that it'll be alive. Samwell Tarly.
Alive. I believe the theory that he's the narrator.
The narrator? I do too. I think he's going to be alive. Davos.
Alive.
I think he's alive. I think there's no reason to kill Davos. There's no... Oh, here's an interesting one. Lord Varys.
He's a survivor.
Yeah.
You know what? What he's been through, I think he's going to squeak out a life. I think he's going to live.
I'm going to say alive. Jorah Mormont.
Die.
I think so too.
Maybe a noble death, trying to protect Dany.
I think so too. Even though part of me is like, okay, so we had this whole grayscale thing, this whole ripping.
No, Arthur's saying Davos dies. No, Arthur, no.
No, Davos can't die.
Sorry, what were you saying?
No, he can't. I was gonna say Jorah's gone through so much with the grayscale, ripping off the scabs, back. That was like, I feel like that was his close call moment, maybe. But I think he'll do it. He'll have a heroic death.
It might be nice if he but the thing is, if he lives, where's he gonna go? He's not gonna go back to Bear Island and take over. Lyanna's there, and she's not gonna let him take over. And she lives.
She lives. Lyanna Mormont lives. Her bear lives.
She might be the ruler at the end. She might be sitting on the Iron Throne.
You know what? I don't think people will complain about that. I think people would like that. What about Sansa?
I think she might die. I think we've come to kind of the end of her story.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of scenarios where she lives, where she died. I don't know. I'm gonna say she lives.
Okay.
I'm gonna say she lives. Arya.
I think she lives.
She has to live. She's gonna live. She's gonna live. Let's see. Who do we have left? Gilly. Scraping the bottom of the barrel.
She's you know, she lives.
She'll live. Bronn.
I love Bronn, but I think he's gonna die.
I think he's gonna die too. Now, I'm surprised one of these two didn't die this season after their love scene. Grey Worm or Missandei?
I think Grey Worm is not gonna. He's gonna be on the front lines fighting White Walkers. I don't think he's gonna live.
One of them.
Missandei, she'll probably live. She's not much use otherwise.
Yeah. Tormund?
He better be alive, and he better be with Brienne. Man.
Well, if Jaime's dead, Tormund can do it. That's fine. What about the Hound?
I think that we're going to get Clegane Bowl, like everybody says. He's going to fight his brother. I think he's going to kill his brother and then maybe die from his injuries.
I think he's going to die somehow. I think he's going to die. And yeah, it could be up against his brother afterwards, but I do think he's going to die. Okay, we've got the two biggies next. Jon Snow.
I know you think he's going to live.
I do.
I don't know. I mean, I think die.
And then what? Oh, I skipped some. We'll get to him in a minute. Dany.
I think she'll be the one that lives because I think she'll be pregnant. I don't think she'll have had the baby yet.
Now, I don't know. I was just thinking right now is that one of them will live, one of them will die. And I can maybe, especially if she's pregnant, it would make sense for Jon Snow to die. And then she would, I guess, be the next.
Unless she gives birth like in episode 5. I think she's living.
And then Jon Snow takes care of the baby. Or Gilly she's good at taking care of babies.
She is good at taking babies.
What about
And in the book, you read the books or did you read them all? Mm-hmm. When she's at the wall with Sam and Jon sends her away, she doesn't even take her baby. Jon makes her switch her baby with Mance Rayder's baby because Mance Rayder's baby is of a kingly family, and she's worried. They're worried that Melisandre will burn the baby.
Oh, because we know she likes to burn kids.
With royal blood, right? So
yeah.
She doesn't even have her own baby in the books.
Speaking of Melisandre, we both think she'll probably die, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think Arya's gonna kill her.
Old lady Melisandre.
I'm trying to think what other characters we haven't seen. Gendry?
Gendry? Oh, Gendry's gonna live.
He better live. If he lives, I know there's no happy endings, Arthur. Gendry plus Arya equals forever.
Yeah. And they can bring in Hot Pie as their baker.
I think Theon's gonna live. I think he's gonna redeem himself, and I think he's gonna become the ruler of the Iron Islands.
Yeah, I mean, I can see kind of a sacrifice coming out, but I feel like he sacrificed so much already that he'll
have to do something very brave. Yeah. But I think he'll survive whatever it is.
If he's going to be ruling the Iron Islands, do you think Yara's then going to die?
Yeah, I think she'll die.
Because I don't think he's going to rule the Iron Islands if Yara's still alive.
No. But I think Yara's going to die and he's going to take over.
Well, I guess we'll find out in like a year and a half.
Oh my God. I'll be watching hardcore Game of Thrones conspiracy videos until then. Although I haven't gone to apparently you can read all of next season's script somewhere. I have not been tempted to do that yet.
Wait, next season?
Yeah, I read that.
Oh,
right? I think that's I think Arthur said he saw, I don't know if it's the full scripts, but basically the full outline.
Well, that's what happened with this season is last October, November, apparently they were leaked. I didn't find this out until a few weeks ago, but by that point, we were about halfway through the season, and I'm like, oh, everything's matching up really right.
Yeah.
Except there were a couple bits of information in those that were kind of left out of, especially the season finale. I think there may have been a couple more deleted scenes.
Mm-hmm.
But, it'd be kind of spoilers, so I don't want to get into it. But yeah, it should be cool to see what happens in season 8. And if
Arthur says he's read it all. He knows it all.
Wow.
No spoilers, Arthur. No spoilers.
Spoilers.
Send Justin that link immediately.
I like to be spoiled. I like to know things that are coming.
Oh, well, I can't say I'm gonna hold out for a year and a half. We'll see.
But you did not read this information, right? For this
no,
season?
None. Not one little thing. I watched speculation videos, but no true spoilers.
How close were the speculation videos?
Some of them, you know, like everybody kind of speculated that the dragon would die and be resurrected, which is not that, you know.
Because I'm wondering how much of these speculation videos took their information from.
Possibly. And then, I mean, but people for years before the show even aired, people fans of the book knew that John plus L equaled John, or what was it? R plus L equals John.
That's
so.
Fan theory forever.
So. Yeah. So, I mean, I guess some people really kind of do read the clues and get all the clues, but.
I don't know. They're much more observant than I am.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna watch the season again. I think I'm gonna watch the whole series again. And
I didn't even know if Abraham Kenyatta was alive or dead.
I know. I didn't remember his name. That's how long ago he was in the show. We need to talk about that next week because Dariella. Okay.
Yes, we will talk about Zoo. That is something to look forward to.
There'll be nothing else to talk about
unless there's a hurricane coming through Florida.
Yeah.
So that sounds good.
So that's the end of the show. We'll see you next Sunday if there's no tornado or hurricane. And have a good week, guys. Make sure you listen to our usual Wednesday show. Thanks. Bye. Oh, I gotta hang up here.